Do I go now?
Yep.
I knew that there was action in it because it said in the evidence that he grabbed me by the arm and took me inside. He beat me with his belt over and over again. I thought it would never end.
So you introduced your paper by having an action lead?
Yeah.
So it was right in the middle of what kind of scene?
An action scene. An interesting scene, I guess.
Can you actually explain to me what it was?
An abusing time, I guess, when his dad was drunk.
Okay.
And I knew that there was a location in the setting because it said broken. I broke the gate in our front yard, and so I knew that it was at their house because it said that it was in their front yard. And then introducing the characters, I had a description that said I went to run away, but there was no place I could run to. He grabbed me by my dark hair. So you know that he has dark hair. I mean, you don't know what skin color he has, but you know it's a guy. Because in the beginning it said, you're in big trouble now, Amari, and Amari's a guy name. And then the conflict, it draws the reader into the conflict because it says, I'm so sorry, I tried to say without tears. At that instant, I knew he was drunk. And so there's conflict when the dad's drunk and he's trying to beat him, or beat his son. And then I knew that the conflict really stood out and it was a big part of the story. And so that was a glow. And then a grow, I think I could work on giving a better description to my characters. Because I didn't have a great description, but I had, I think, enough.
And what do you mean by description? What do you want to add about your character?
Like what the character looks like. So then the person knows what he looks like, and if people bully him about his looks, or if, yeah.
Is that part of your story, that he gets bullied about his looks?
No.
So is that important to include in your introduction?
Not really.
Do you think that it's important that we get to know your main character, like who they are as a person?
Yeah.
So do you think that you added character traits in your introduction?
Yeah.
What do I mean by character traits, and what kind of traits did you add?
Like traits as in how they act and if they're like responsible or not.
So what kind of traits did you include in your introduction?
That he hides things, like his dad bruises him a lot, and so he has to cover up all of that, and so then his friends don't find out about that.
Do you talk about how he covers them up?
I'm going to into the story.
But what have you done in your introduction to let us connect to this character, to know who he is?
I haven't.
Okay,
Really? So I think
so
I need to
maybe
add on
your
that.
grow. I like that you wanted to focus on your character development in your grow, but maybe instead of description, if it's not important to know what he looks like,
Yeah.
maybe it's important for us to know who he is. Because if he's getting abused by his dad, then you want to immediately have the reader feel empathy for him and want to be on his side and
Yeah.
feel bad for him and connect for him,
Yeah.
or connect with him. So probably you want to think about how in your introduction can you let the reader know that we like this kid and we want to root for this kid. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Do you have any ideas of what you can add to kind of show who he is, who his personality is?
I think that probably the way he dresses, maybe he dresses poorly, or if he's not with a really, really good family, and he still gets treated poorly about that. And yeah.
You had mentioned that the first scene in your introduction is him getting beat by his dad. So could you immediately go into how maybe he goes and changes clothes and puts on long sleeves so that he can cover up his bruises once again?
Yeah.
Because you had mentioned that he wants to cover up his bruises so his friends don't know. And so if you actually showed through the narration that he went to do that, then it would show us as a reader that not only has this been going on a long time, but that he's maybe feels ashamed or insecure about it, or maybe for some reason wants to protect his dad, or maybe he feels like he's protecting himself. just by putting on a long sleeve shirt and covering up the bruises, that tells us so much about the character.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't you think, because I can see that those thoughts happened in your head,
Yeah.
we just need to make sure that those happen in your introduction.
Yeah.
So that your reader can read them.
Yeah.
Okay? All right, so let's work on those. Thanks, Morgan.